Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. We've sifted through today's feed on X, pulling out the key signals, the stuff you really need to know. It's all about sharp analysis delivered fast. Today, we're tracking some pretty aggressive capital flows, geopolitics, AI dominance, market volatility. It's all connected.
It really is. You've got defense budgets targeting supply chains, AI companies acting like nation states almost, and even a surprising moment in politics. Lots to unpack. So let's jump right in. First up, geopolitics and critical resources.
Yeah, starting with the basics for modern tech and defense.
Yeah.
Critical minerals. Here's the first post we flagged. Breaking. The Pentagon is buying $500 million of cobalt, $245 million of antimony, and $100 million of tantalum per FT. That's nearly $1 billion just on stockpiling these things.
Right. And it's way more than just a shopping trip. This is about supply chain sovereignty, a really big investment. The U.S. Defense Logistics Agency, they got this billion-dollar plan, and it's explicitly about depending less on China.
Because China controls the processing, right? Not necessarily the mining.
Exactly. China handles over 70% of global cobalt refining, making it usable. That's the bottleneck they're targeting.
So basically, we're paying extra to kind of de-risk the supply chain from geopolitics.
That's a good way to put it. Putting a price tag on independence. And think about what these are for. Cobalt, crucial for high-performance EV batteries, jet engines, and ammonia needed for specific types of ammunition, flame retardants. And tantalum, that's essential for high-end capacitors and missiles, advanced electronics. It's all about future military readiness.
And I bet the market noticed immediately.
Oh, absolutely. Instant boost for certain domestic mining companies. We saw stocks like U.S. Antimony Corp jump, 8% intraday? It just shows how government demand can really drive these niche sectors. A powerful catalyst.
Okay, that definitely sets the strategic tone. And speaking of big strategic moves, let's shift to the Middle East. Post number 6. Wow. He who must not be named was named. CC at Barack Obama. That's packed with meaning.
It really is. This points to a major and honestly very surprising kind of bipartisan moment on foreign policy. You have Bill Clinton offering rare public praise, actually naming and crediting the Trump administration, plus Qatar and others, for getting that Israel-Hamas ceasefire done, October 13th, 2025.
And what exactly did the deal achieve? What prompted this?
Well, it secured the release of the last 20 living Israeli hostages, and it allowed a significant amount of aid into Gaza, essentially marked the end of that 2-year conflict. So for someone like Clinton to explicitly credit Trump, well, it says a lot about how significant this diplomatic win was perceived.
Right, and the internet never forgets. Which brings us neatly to post number 9. Sending this to the top, let's go. Pure political reaction, basically right after the big news.
Totally, but it connects directly to the ceasefire. This is dredging up an old clip, January 2025. It's Alyssa Farah Griffin on The View, promising she'd wear a MAGA hat for a day if Trump managed to get the Israeli hostages released.
Ah, okay. So the deal happens, and immediately this clip gets reposted.
Yep, ignites all these online calls for her to make good on the promise. It's just a perfect example of how personal pledges can get tangled up with these huge geopolitical events.
Okay, let's pivot from geopolitics to the strategic battle over tech infrastructure. This is where the money involved just gets staggering.
Yeah, the AI ecosystem, it's operating on a completely different scale now. It's like it's building its own infrastructure, almost like a country.
Right, check out post 8. It lays it all out, kind of terrifyingly. OpenAI has now signed multi-billion-dollar deals with U.S. government, Stargate, $500 billion.
$500 billion, just that first one.
Then NVIDIA, $100 billion, AMD, up to $100 billion, Intel, $25 billion, TSMC, $20 billion, Microsoft, $13 billion, and Broadcom is on the list too. That first item, Stargate, $500 billion. What is that exactly?
Yeah. Okay, so that is the key piece of context often missing. Stargate is the code name, the rumored name anyway, for this massive U.S. defense and intelligence initiative. It's basically an unprecedented government investment in building sovereign AI capabilities right here domestically. And it leans heavily on OpenAI's models, probably their hardware too.
So you look at that whole list, starting with Stargate, then every major chip maker, cloud provider. What's the big picture for OpenAI?
Connect the dots, and you're looking at projections of like a $1 trillion valuation for OpenAI by 2026, maybe sooner. This kind of capital lets them basically dictate hardware standards globally. They're not just buying chips, they're funding and demanding custom infrastructure across the whole supply chain.
Which inevitably brings up all the ethical questions that follow companies operating at this kind of, planetary scale, even as they hit these huge valuations.
Absolutely. The ambition versus responsibility thing gets dialed way up. It fuels the rivalries. You see the calls for XAI to step up, but it also brings back scrutiny of their history. The 2024 whistleblower incident around safety, the 2023 Kenyan labor issues, paying workers less than $2 an hour for vital safety work. That stuff looks different when you're talking trillions. Makes the ethical foundation even more critical.
And this is where the hardware side gets really interesting. Post 3. Prediction resurfaced today that AI hype won't peak until Broadcom rivals NVIDIA's valuation. That sounds ambitious. Needs a huge shift.
It does sound ambitious, but get this, the news this week kind of backs it up. OpenAI just announced a huge multi-year deal with Broadcom. We're talking multi-gigawatts worth of custom AI accelerators, set for deployment starting 2026 through 2029. Focuses on scalable, Ethernet-based AI clusters.
Broadcom, though, aren't they mostly known for networking?
Traditionally, yeah. But this deal, it signals Broadcom is making a very aggressive, very deliberate play to become a major AI hardware provider. OpenAI isn't just buying off the shelf here. They're baking their model insights into the hardware design. It's custom. And that approach directly challenges NVIDIA's dominance. It gives Broadcom a clear path to maybe, just maybe, rapidly grow their market cap towards NVIDIA levels. It's a real challenge.
Okay, let's drill down now right into the code trenches. Engineers figuring out which specific tools work best. Post 4. So basically when working on front end, only use Claude 4.5. Back-end, refactoring, logic issues, codex high. Hope this helps. People are getting super specific.
And they need to, for efficiency.
Yeah.
This recommendation, apparently from an ex-Anthropic engineer, highlights a key technical split. Claude 4.5, it seems, is really good for front-end tasks. Why? Because it's great at rapid prototyping, and especially generating pixel-perfect UI. Think complex web layouts like with Next.js. It just gets the visuals right quickly.
Okay, makes sense for the visual side.
Yeah.
What about the back end, the heavy lifting?
That's where Codex High comes in. Apparently, this is a specialized GPT-5 variant. It excels at complex stuff. Understanding deep context, major code refactoring, keeping the architecture clean. Because it's specialized, it can apparently handle full-stack builds faster and, crucially, use way fewer tokens, like up to 5 times less than more general models.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like using a specialized torque wrench instead of just a generic screwdriver tool for the job.
All right, let's shift gears again. Away from the infrastructure wars towards the impact on people and markets, specifically how AI changes individual work.
Right, and this is interesting because it kind of pushes back against the idea that AI is purely a democratizing force.
Yeah, Post 2 touches on this. AI will boost star workers more than everyone else, widening performance gaps and straining teams. WSJ writes, the core idea is that domain expertise and organized habits let stars get more from AI. Stars adopt AI earlier, explore features fast, and build personal workflows. So the common wisdom is AI levels the playing field, but this suggests it's actually turbocharging the already high performers.
That's exactly what the WSJ analysis found. AI acts more like leverage than a replacement. Your star workers, the high-skill folks, they know their field. They ask better questions, write better prompts, and that leads to exponentially better results from the AI. They can experiment faster, iterate more effectively.
Is there data on how big this gap actually gets?
There is. One central bank study found AI boosted overall quality by like 48%. But for high-skill workers doing specialist tasks, the quality gains doubled.
Doubled, wow.
Yeah. It confirms that prompt engineering, knowing what to ask, is itself a skill tied to expertise and the implication for hiring. It's pretty stark. Research suggests AI adoption might be slowing down entry-level hiring while senior roles expand, so it can actually amplify existing inequalities based on seniority.
Okay, next up. Aggressive capital in a totally different arena. Post 7. Powerball winner Edwin Castro is spending millions buying lots that were torched in the LA wildfires. This one, it feels complicated.
It's classic strategic investing, right? Follow. But the timing and context create significant ethical questions. Optics aren't great. So yeah, Castro bought 15 lots in Altadena, California. They were damaged in the Eaton wildfire back in September 2025. Spent $10 million.
But buying properties maybe 20, even 50% below their pre-fire value right after people lost homes, isn't that basically disaster capitalism? Even if he says he'll rebuild.
That's exactly the criticism he's facing from the local community. He likely sees a strategic opportunity, buy low, baby, as the Post implies. But locals see it as profiting from tragedy. The wrinkle is, he said he plans to lead the reconstruction himself. But yeah, that hasn't stopped the backlash over perceived exploitation. It's a tough one.
Speaking of things causing confusion, Apple's latest branding move, Post 5, Apple has officially rebranded Apple TV Plus to simply Apple TV.
Yep, they confirmed it. October 13th press release. The goal was probably simplification, unifying the brand, but the problem is Apple TV is already the name of their hardware, the little black box.
So now the streaming service and the box have the same name.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the reaction online. Predictably, frustration.
Yeah.
Lots of users pointing out this just makes things more confusing, especially for people who aren't super tech savvy. Trying to explain the difference between the service, the app, and the physical device just got harder. Another classic Apple naming head scratcher.
Okay, let's wrap today's vibe check with something generating pure excitement. Post 10. On track for today's Starship flight test. The launch window is from 6:15 p.m. CT, 7:30 p.m. CT. Live coverage starts 30 minutes before launch.
Yeah, you can feel the energy around this one in the feed.
Yeah.
This is Starship Flight 11. The anticipation is huge. People are sharing memes, like one comparing the intensity of the Super Heavy booster firing all 33 Raptor engines, comparing that intensity to, like, extreme emotional investment, referencing studies about pupil dilation up to 55% increase with high emotional stimulus. It's just tapping into that shared visceral excitement, a global moment.
And that was the daily vibe casting. We went from Pentagon stockpiles to a potential political truce and deep inside the workings of a maybe trillion-dollar AI machine.
Yeah, the thread running through it all today seems to be aggressive capital-chasing strategic advantage. You've got that massive $500 billion government AI project, Stargate. You've got strategic mineral buys for sovereignty. You have huge corporate deals like Broadcom's. Even the Powerball winner snapping up fire sale land. It all points somewhere. So the question to leave you with is, looking at all this, considering where the big money, the really aggressive capital is flowing, what does today's feed tell you about who's really setting the agenda right now? Where's the power concentrating?
Something to think about. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.